Hello, folks. It's Sunday, August 25th. It's about 5:30 in the evening on the West Coast of the United States. In this video, I will look at the gold mining stocks. Same thing I did this morning with the silver stocks. These are large cap mining stocks. And in the gold mining stocks, they actually are. We do have a number of them that actually are above the $10 billion threshold. So when we say they're large cap, they really are. So anyway, let me share my screen and we will get started here. Oh, I hit the wrong button again. Did the same thing this morning. What's up with that? Oh, and I've got a timer going again. That worked pretty well this morning. Keep me from rambling on. So here we are, gold mining stocks. Same comments from this morning. Mexico is making moves against the mining industry. And so just careful with investing money in Mexican mining stocks of companies that operate in Mexico or explore in Mexico. This morning, when I did this Google search this morning, what came up was a blurb talking about banning new open pit mining. And then this evening, what they're showing here is that this is already passed. So new legislation shorten mining concessions. And so when a mining company goes into Mexico now, they're not going to get the same length of mining concession, length and duration, time duration. I'm not sure about this one. I'm going to have to do some research. Restrict them to a single type of mineral. Well, what happens when you're mining? You've got a polymetallic deposit, copper, lead, zinc, for example, or gold and lead, or gold and copper, or what do you do with a mining operation that has multiple metals? And so anyway, that's curious. And then eliminate preferential status for land use. And so, and then here's this link. This article is talking about open pit mining ban. That's what I was just referring to that we saw this morning. And so, anyway, interesting changes in Mexico regarding precious metals mining. So be careful going forward about companies, mining companies that are operating in Mexico. So that's this point. Again, we're going to see it. We'll see it in this set of stocks. Same thing we saw this morning, that some of the best performing mining stocks are the royalty and streaming companies. Get paid for taking a risk in the stock markets. That's my comment there. Safe jurisdictions for me, at this point, it's U.S. and Canada, unless a company's got just an outstanding story. I'm only interested in these two jurisdictions. So let's keep rolling. So this is same thing we saw for silver. It's a list of the largest gold mining companies ordered by market cap. And we can see here, there's the $10 billion threshold. So we've got 10 companies. We've got 10 gold mining companies that actually are large market cap. And of course, look at Newmont, almost $60 billion. So big company, but obviously not big relative to an NVIDIA or a Microsoft, et cetera. So let's see. Gold, one of the things we'll see in these stocks is that across the board, the gold mining stocks look better than the silver mining stocks, but that's not really surprising because of this. I mean, in the last, let's start from here. So September of 23. So a full year, one year ago, gold was at 1825. And here we are a year later, not quite a year later. We got a week to go. We're at, we'll call it 25.25. So $700 gold has added $700 to its price in the last year. And so not surprising that we should see and will see in these charts that the gold mining companies, at least some of them are doing quite well, you know, $700 gain in gold. So we looked at that. And so now we're into the stocks. Newmont does have operations in Mexico. Actually, it's the largest gold mine in Mexico. And then what I was saying a moment ago, this is a polymetallic mine. So how do the new Mexican laws affect a mine like this? And as I said, I've got to do some research on that and see. So as far as price action, we've got this downward sloping channel and then an impulsive move that has brought price up above the channel, but price immediately runs into this overhead resistance. So bullish price action, but obviously we've got some overhead resistance to work through. MACD on a buy signal, but still in bear mode, energy very elevated. So, and I would point out the volume action here is not bullish. As price is rising here, volume is declining, and that's exactly opposite of what we would like to see in a bullish stock or a stock that we were bullish on. We'd like to see volume rising along with price, and that's not what we're getting here. So let's see, AEM, again, big bullish move running into overhead resistance. Accumulation distribution looks a little bit better than Newmont, mostly flat. MACD in bull mode on a buy signal, energy very elevated. So bullish price action, but running into overhead resistance. Nothing exciting about volume. Barrick, again, breaking out or has broken out of this downward sloping price channel. Bullish price action pushing up into and almost through this overhead resistance. Accumulation distribution's not exciting. MACD on a buy signal, but still in bear mode, energy elevated. So nothing particularly exciting about Barrick. Personally, I don't invest in these large cap gold mining companies other than like Wheaton, which is a streaming and royalty company. So, you know, I don't hold any Barrick or Newmont, etc. And coincidentally, there's Wheaton. So major royalty streaming company. We looked at this one this morning and noticed that it falls into both categories. It shows up on both the gold and silver list because obviously it has royalty streams from both gold and silver miners. So Franco-Nevada, another royalty company, not looking as bullish as some of the other streamers. If we'd have to dig into what's going on with this company to see why are we not seeing more interesting action there. And just caught my eye there. We've got a potential Andrews pitchfork. Let me throw that on the chart. Not bad. That's a modified Schiff pitchfork. We can see price touched the center line, dropped through almost down to the lower median line, found support a little bit above that level, and has now pushed up above the center line again, which of course that gives us a price target up at the upper median line. So, you know, somewhere up in here, if we were trading this vehicle, we might look at a price target up at that level. MACD mostly flat in bear mode. Nothing exciting about accumulation distribution, energy mid-level. So interesting. We might find that this company is being affected by the changes in Mexico, but without looking, I don't know for sure. So Goldfields, GFI, notice accumulation, distribution drifting off downwards. For whatever reason, investors are not hanging on to this thing. Although, notice that it is in a gentle uptrend, and notice that, I talk about bull mode and bear mode in MACD. Well, here you see clearly the primary trend here is to the upside and bull mode in MACD. And so consistent action there. And that's why I pay attention to MACD, is that it gives us a lot of information. Just a quick look, we can say, oh, it's in bull mode. The primary trend is to the upside, which again, that is exactly what we see in the stock. So yeah, let's keep rolling. Anglo Gold, very impulsive price movement to the upside. MACD and bull mode on buy signal, energy elevated. Looks like investors are coming back into this one based on accumulation distribution, pushing up into this resistance zone. Of course, we've got a price target up here at the upper median line of this modified shift fork, but price will have to push through that resistance, obviously, to get to that level. Northern Star, this is an Australian company. So this is over the counter that we're looking at. That's a quite bullish candlestick here. It's not a hammer. Remember, in the silver stocks, in a number of them, we were seeing bull hammers. So that, I wouldn't call that a bull hammer, but it is a bullish candlestick, indicative of elevated energy, which of course we can see in stochastics. So we don't need stochastics to tell us that energy is elevated in this vehicle. Let's see, pushing up through that resistance zone, but of course it's got another one just overhead, so got some work to do to get up above that price level. Let's keep going. Kenross bumping up into the $10 level, which for whatever reason, well, it's a round number. It's human psychology is the reason, but this stock in particular has interacted with the $10 level multiple times, and here it is pushing into that level again. And so would not be surprising to see at least a pause, if not a correction or maybe some sideways action at that $10 level. Energy elevated, bull mode on a buy signal, and about to run into the overbought level based on this prior high in MACD. So Kinross has some work to do. Royal Gold, another royalty streaming company. We looked at this. There's the bull hammer. So very, very nice bullish action in Royal Gold. Alamos, again, nice bullish candlestick. Break above this price channel. What was that? 4 months ago, sideways consolidation, and now pushing higher, pushing up towards this resistance level. Investors coming back in based on accumulation distribution, bull mode on a buy signal. And notice as well, we had at least one example of this kind of behavior in the silver stocks, where MACD pushed up into what we might have thought of as a overbought level based on MACD, but then pushed above, which suggests that you know, one, price is either extremely overbought, or price, this vehicle is moving into a new paradigm or new behavior. It's headed higher based on MACD. So, but again, nothing exciting about volume. You know, this is basically a gentle roll off in volume as price is rising higher. So that's not really bullish activity. In volume, Pan American, we looked at this morning, impulsive breakout, nice volume on that breakout. Harmony Gold, impulsive push up through that resistance level. Those are an interesting series of candlesticks. Not quite sure what to think about that. What comes to mind first is hesitancy on the part of investors and traders. They're not quite sure what to do with this thing. You know, the buyers push price way up here, and then the sellers push price way down there, and then neither of them want to commit, and so they kind of meet in the middle. So anyway, that's an interesting series of candlesticks there. Bull mode on a buy signal, elevated energy. Let's keep rolling. Evolution, impulsive candlestick this month. Investors coming in, MACD's poking up into bull mode. Not quite there yet. Indicator line is, moving average is not. Obviously on a buy signal, energy is elevated. Nothing exciting about volume. So let's see, got Endeavor. Nothing exciting here other than, you know, accumulation distribution. For whatever reason, investors are holding on to this one. And of course, we're looking at over the counter. And so if we were interested in investing, tongue twister there, in this particular stock, we'd want to go look at its listing. It's probably Canadian. And we'd want to go look at that listing to see what the volume looks like on the main index. What does the accumulation distribution look like on the main index? So I wouldn't read too much into accumulation distribution based on over-counter action. Same comments with MACD, that the price action in an over-counter stock like this should follow the price action in the main listing, wherever that listing is. But the indicators we want to be more careful with when we're looking at over-the-counter stocks. Fresnillo, we looked at this morning. London Gold, look at that, man. I saw that and I'm like, wow, what's going on with London? And so I went and looked. Look at this series of news releases just in the past, what was that, two weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. So on the 7th, they had 2 news releases. They expanded their drill program by 10,000 meters, and then they announced discovery of a new high-grade deposit, and that deposit is close to the surface. And we'll see, that's the next tab here is that news release. And then on the 8th, the very next day, they doubled their quarterly dividend. And so that explains some of this price action in August. Obviously, in July, investors were also excited about this stock, pushed it up above the top of that channel. Anyway, very bullish action in London Gold. And then I dug a little deeper to see debt-free. That's a relatively recent accomplishment for this company. So debt-free, that's a good thing, and positive cash flow. So debt-free, and they've got cash flow, got a mill. Low-cost gold mine. So they're, from memory, looking at the chart, I think about $700 an ounce. ASIC, I believe is the acronym. And I forget what it stands for. Basically, it's their overall cost of mining gold. And more importantly, it's a standardized metric. So when we look at one mining company and they say, hey, our ASIC is $700 an ounce, and then we look at another company and they're saying our ASIC is $1,200 an ounce. Well, again, that's a standardized metric, and it gives us a way to compare to mining companies. And so anyway, this is a low-cost gold mine. They're in Ecuador, quarterly dividend of 20 cents. Let's see. So very, very bullish action, price action, big volume supporting that action. Obviously, investors are accumulating shares of this vehicle. Let's look at MACD relative to being overbought and again, pushing up to a new level. Energy elevated, very elevated. So very bullish action in this stock. And it reminded me of a rule, a principle for investors, traders. Our minds, our human brains try to get us to do 180 degrees opposite of what will bring us profit in the markets. And so if we have a portfolio full of stocks, and I'm guilty of this myself, so that's how I know, folks. What we tend to do is we go into the portfolio and instead of cutting the weeds, getting rid of the losers, we take profits on the ones that have profit and we hang on to the losers hoping that they come back. And I did okay. We had a 12-year bull market in gold and silver and the mining stocks, and I made money on the mining stocks. But at the end of that 12-year bull market, I had a portfolio full of dogs and not too many winners at that point because, along the way I took profits on my winners and I held on to my dogs. And so, just suggesting that you do opposite of what your brain might suggest that you do, tell you to do. And when we look at a stock like this, one of the things we might say is that, oh, I missed that one. It got away from me, negative stuff, basically justifying why we wouldn't buy this stock today. And again, I'm not giving investment advice, folks. This is purely, we're looking at stocks. It's Brian rambling, giving his opinions. I'm not giving investment advice. Just pointing out that if you're looking for a winning stock, look for a winning stock, and perhaps there it is. So anyway, let's look at this news release. This was August 7th, and they're announcing 4 drill holes, and each of these first 3 gives us a rule of thumb number of 200 plus. This one gives us about 125. And now let me remind everyone what I'm referring to. So, and I learned this from Quentin Henney, who is he describes himself as a economic geologist, that basically he has a knack for identifying economically viable mining operations, metal deposits that can be economically mined. And one of the rules of thumbs that he talks about is that you take when you're looking at drill results, you take the grams per ton that were discovered in the drill hole, and you multiply that number by the length of the discovery in meters. And so in this case, we'd get, that's 226 and change. And what Quentin what Quentin described as the threshold where the companies, the mining companies get interested in a metal deposit, gold deposit, is when that number is over 100. So anything over 100 is probably economically viable to mine. And so 226, that's a good drill. That's a good drill result. And look at that, from 6.5 meters. What they're telling us is they stuck their drill in the ground, and what's that, 20 feet? They only had to drill 20 feet to find gold. That's a shallow deposit, which means if they're doing open pit, all they got to do is clear off 20 feet of dirt, and they're looking at the gold, that they don't have to go through hundreds and hundreds of feet to get to the gold deposit. Similar, these are a little bit deeper, so 57 meters, 160, 70 feet, 220 feet. So anyway, relatively shallow deposit here. That gives us 200, that gives us 250 plus, I think. And then this one would be 125. So anyway, very positive drill results. So not surprising to see this kind of price action. And keep in mind, this is not an exploration company. The explorers find this, for example, newfound gold. So newfound gold, everywhere they stick a drill in the ground, almost, they get these kind of drill results. And there again, it's a shallow deposit. So when newfound gets around to moving into production, they've got good deposits to work with. Well, here we've got a good deposit and a company that's already in production. They've got a mill. They know how to produce gold profitably. Some of the exploration companies, they don't manage the transition from exploration to producer very well. And of course, there's a lot of costs involved with building and tuning a processing plant, etc. And so anyway, this kind of a drill result with a company that's already in production and zero debt, good combination there. But again, I'm not giving advice here. Buenaventura, we looked at this morning. Don't need to talk about it again. Hecla, we looked at this morning. B2 Gold, downward sloping channel. This is a bullish candle to some extent. We'd like to see a green body. Of course, we've got another week left in the month, so maybe we get a green close out of that bull hammer. But anyway, impulsive push up through the top of that price channel, assuming it closes at that level. In the next week, it could pull back inside of this channel and just leave us with an upper wick poking through like those. Nothing exciting about accumulation distribution, bear mode, no energy or low energy. So not an exciting stock. Eldorado Gold, has pushed up through this resistance level, appears to be pushing higher. Bull mode on a buy signal, energy is elevated. Nothing exciting about volume. Again, we'd like to see some increasing volume as price pushes higher, but that's not what we're seeing. Triple Flag, I actually had never heard of this one before. Obviously hadn't been around long. We don't have a lot of data to work with. One of the positive things about a new company or relatively new company, when price pushes up above this level, everything is a new all-time high. And the key to that is there's no overhead resistance. Once this vehicle breaks above this level, it's clear sailing, blue skies and clear sailing. I'm scaling and sailing. Let's drop down to the weekly just out of curiosity. Yeah, I mean, we got upward sloping trend line there, simple trend line. Might draw something about like that. Doesn't matter. Let's keep rolling. Let me put this back in the monthly time frame. Oh, Cisco Gold Royalties, another royalty company that, again, looking good. And I forget, I think we looked at this one this morning. I'll talk about it just for a moment. Investors coming in based on accumulation distribution, pushing up above the prior level of overboughtness, which, suggests extreme overboughtness and or new behavior, bull hammer, but not quite, hasn't quite pushed above the top of this channel or this resistance zone. So elevated energy. And again, the overall, the royalty and streaming companies probably look the best of any of these stocks, with the exception of London Gold. Oh, and another comment on London. I've heard more than one analyst say positive things about the management company of London, that these people know what they're doing. And based on results, looking at their stock, it would be hard to argue with that assessment of the management team. Clearly, they are doing something right. And I'm just looking at my timer. We're at 31 minutes, but wrapping up. We're getting close to the end here. IM Gold, bullish action, got some increasing volume. MACD in bull mode on a buy signal, elevated energy. So nice action there in IAM. What else we got? Sandstorm. I don't want to get sued for liable, so I'm not going to tell you what I know about this stock based on my research. But let me just say that before you invest your hard-earned money in this company, I would suggest you do a deep dive into the history of this company, and in particular, the machinations that they have gone through, forming subsidiary companies, reabsorbing those subsidiaries, stock splits. Every time they do one of those, throw off a subsidiary and then reabsorb it, all of the management team and board of directors feel that they deserve not only another crop of shares in Sandstorm, but bonuses, etc. And so anyway, the management company of this particular stock believes that the key investors, which of course are themselves, deserve to be rewarded. And so anyway, that's all I'm going to say about this particular company. Do your own due diligence before you put your hard-earned money at risk. We already looked at a Cisco, got that one in there twice. This one, a couple of things about SSRM. They're one of the companies, this was Silver Standard, back in the day, in the bull market from 2002 to 2012, it was Silver Standard Resources. And then they changed their name as part of okay, we don't want to be silver miners anymore. We want to be gold miners. They changed their name to SSR Mining, and evidently confused people, because the market cap on SSR Mining is like $1.3 billion. And so it should show up on this list of large cap. I mean, we can see, 1.3. We ought to be seeing SSR Mining somewhere in here, and we don't. And in the list of silver stocks that we looked at this morning, same thing. SSRM was not in that list. And so I'm not sure why that is the case, but it could be just the company has confused people about what they're up to. Are you a silver miner? Are you a gold miner? What the heck are you doing? But anyway, I thought that was interesting. Before I put any money into this one, I'd want to go understand what the heck happened here. Huge volume and a big dip in price. And so, I'd want to understand what happened there. But again, I'm not currently putting new money into mining stocks. In my next video, I'll explain why I looked at the silver stocks, the large cap silver stocks and gold stocks. Basically, what I'm looking for is an indication of when do we want to get involved in a large scale, in a big manner with the mining stocks. Because right now, nobody likes the mining stocks. And so, if you like trading the mining stocks, you can find bullish opportunities. But in general, for the average investor who doesn't want to sit in front of the computer looking at stock charts every day, fingers crossed, hoping that his junior mining stocks are going to go to the moon, 10x. When do we get back into mining stocks? And I'll be talking about that in my next video. So back to this one: bear mode, sell signal, low energy. Clearly, investors are divesting themselves of this stock, not hanging on to it. So, and again, without going and doing some research, I can't explain what happened there. I can tell you it's a red flag for me. Red flag on the play. Nothing to share there. So that's it, folks. I'm at 36 minutes. I'm going to wrap this up. Let me stop sharing my screen. I'll do my next video tomorrow while these silver and gold stocks are fresh in my mind. And so look forward to talking to you then. See you guys.